gluten-free intolerant allergy, and I saw that. Then I discovered it was a yeast, not the gluten. But I saw like there wasn't many options. Like if you go to the supermarket, there isn't many options out there, and it's all with preservatives.
So welcome to the show, Fady Abboud.
Okay? Hi, hi there.
Hello.
Hi, Jen. The right, Kai. Yeah, Kai.
Cayde.
Uh, Caden.
No, Cayde. There's no N in my
Hey.
name. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's not traditionally spelt normally, but
Yeah.
I didn't care when I picked it.
Yeah.
So you run a gluten-free bakery, essentially, where you send premixes to people to help, well, for them to make their own gluten-free bread. Why did you decide to run a gluten-free, what's essentially a bakery?
Yeah. Well, it's in the beginning I thought of gluten-free intolerant allergy. And I saw that. Then I discovered it was a yeast, not the gluten. But I saw like there wasn't many options. Like if you go to the supermarket, there isn't many options out there, and it's all with preservatives, flavoring. I thought there's a gap in the market that there's like natural that can be customized because I pack all my orders when I receive it, so they're not on the shelf waiting for orders.
So were you looking to fill a gap in the market then? Because if the options for gluten-free bakery is essentially, well, baked goods is essentially non-existent, would you say that you've just come in and seen a gap and gone, I'm going to fill it?
Yeah, because even when you buy gluten-free baked bread, you see it's been last like some of them last a year or a few months. And if you look at the ingredients, it's all like preservatives, things to make it last longer. And yeah, so I thought, and if some people want to bake the fresh bread at home, then know what's in the knowing that it's all natural and organic.
Would you say that's the reason you ship the ingredients and not the actual end product? Because I can't imagine trying to send freshly baked bread in the post. I'm just picturing it right now where it's you get it from the Royal Mail. So I ordered this 5 days ago. Oh damn it! It started going moldy. So does the sending the ingredients just kind of sideline that issue? Yes, you are putting it on the consumer to make the product once they get it, but you're giving them the tool, well, the ingredients in this case, so that they can do it themselves.
Yeah, because also like it works out cheaper for them because first of all, it's not only one flour, it's multiple, at least up to six ingredients. And to bake one bread or two bread, it's gonna cost more because you can't buy like 100 gram, 200 gram, or 10 grams of that ingredient. And yeah, as I said, baking the bread and send post it, even, I mean, it will cost more because the bread probably weighs more than the actual flour. Plus, it could get damaged in post. You have to do it with a box and stuff like that. Also, I'm thinking in the future, like a pickup point, so pick up the baked bread or the premix instead of being shipped, they can come and collect it. But that's something I see within a year or two.
Why do you see people in a year or two coming to collect going to collect the premixes themselves? Because I think I would personally say when I was researching you and your business earlier, I thought, oh, this is actually quite a unique idea because, like I said, with the posting the bread through the mailbox is not a good idea, but posting the ingredients in a small patch. Now, I thought that was actually quite clever. Why would you include where people go and get it themselves? Because if everyone's optimizing for convenience, like we've got Amazon's a great example of this. Oh, I want to go on Amazon and get a punching bag. Well, it's a lot easier to do it that way than going picking one up. So
Yeah, because right now it's a home business, and for locals, but depends where I move my business to. Some locals, because I offer for local me to deliver to them. So if they will live in the same area as me, I can drop it off to their house or wherever they live. The reason I want to do that is I said if someone lives local or not even local, it's near a shopping area or like near a high street, or they can pick up the premix. Also, might start if I do start baking bread, it'd be like something I'll do like once a week or once a month or whatever, probably once a week. So they have option to pick it up because sometimes, they want to save a bit money and they say, okay, I'll pick it up. It's easier for me. It's on my way. I live near the place, and it's probably also costly for me because I don't have to pack it in a envelope to send it out, and it saves time also for me.
Also, the advantage of that as well is that people could order as part of their weekly food shop. So let's say it starts getting, yeah, it could be, say, Asda, just pick one, and someone could go, oh, you know what, this pre-made kit, I've got the extra £5 in my weekly food shop. Why not just go and buy a pre-made gluten-free like oat bread or something like that?
It's actually a big seller. The old bread is one of our biggest sellers, and our cornbread. Yeah, we get like every order I've been doing is doing like they buy one packet, two packets. So the cornbread is as popular, but not as popular. Yeah, because if I do like I said before, like if I do weekly baking the bread, that they have a pre-order, so someone can order it. Probably I'll say minimum for the 8 hours, and as I'm doing that, you know, I said before, they can pick up the premix. So maybe they pre-order the baked bread, and it's okay. I mean, I doubt if someone would do that, but why would you buy a baked bread and then buy the premix? But so they can pick it up. Like I mean, again, depends on the location. Maybe I say, oh, it's the nearest residence area, like house or flat. It's like an hour away, and I don't think anybody will come here to pick it up. But if I could do it, I'd do it. But if it's not see people coming to my location to pick it up, I won't do it because you need to know like if it's worth it.
I get it. It's more for is it a profitable venture for you to pursue? Because at the moment you do bread and cookies at the moment
Yes,
for, yeah, so you've got,
as a
oh,
as
oh, and the
as a
gingerbread
premix,
cookies.
yeah.
Go on.
As a premix. So it's like it's something like I've been thinking to do the baked cookies. Like there's a few brands out there that's do the few cookies baked, but because I don't have like a large oven and I do everything myself, I don't have time. It's like if I get like lots of orders of the premix, it's hard to bake the cookies because the maximum I can do is 24 at one time, and so that it's not and it's not like a quick thing. It takes time. So you either do the premix or do bake cookies, and I prefer to focus on one thing than focus on two things.
I suppose when you're packing orders, you don't really have the time to develop the recipes. Which was going to be one of my later questions, but we're on the topic now, so why not? What would you like to make as gluten-free options? Because I wouldn't say you're limited on what you have, but the options are basically bread or cookies. I was thinking, maybe you could make some donuts or scones in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I have people asking for cakes and pizza dough. I've been looking getting ideas on like what flavor and stuff like that. And if it's is it really worth to do like a vanilla cake premix than having cause a chocolate or a nutty kind of cake or something like that. And yeah, I mean, it's takes me a few months to before I go from testing to actually go on the website because I see if it's really worth it. If it's like someone can just buy the mix themselves, like buy the flour themselves, is it really like that kind of worth?
I get it. You don't want to make a recipe for months and no one buys it.
Yeah, I mean, it's something like quite simple where they can just buy the gluten-free flour mix from a supermarket because it's the same ingredients and it's made the difference really. But if it's something like a bit more complex, then simply buy one two ingredients in the supermarket. I mean, like my cookies, only thing they need to buy is the eggs and the butter or non-dairy butter, depend on the diet. But though, yeah, I've been thinking to do that kind of thing, but yeah. With some orders coming in right now, it's like hard to do to testing out the recipe for a good pita dough mix.
What are some of the alternatives to create your baked goods as gluten free? Because I know you can't have rye, wheat, and there's a third. Is it yeast? I forget. There's three
Uh,
for those with Is it
Yeast you can.
okay? Because I know it's wheat and rye. I forgot the third one. Oh, for things. But what are the alternatives for? Oh, I'm just like no, yeah, no regular flowers in there.
You can buy gluten-free yeast. Maybe it's actually gluten-free. Sometimes the label's really bad, like they don't really say it's gluten-free, but it is. But yeah, I focus on sourdough because it's a natural raising agent. Secondly, it is yeast, but it's like wild yeast, and it's made from I think bacteria. It's the because it's simply it's just gluten-free flour and water, and you can add like honey or other sugar to speed up the process. And it's a long process. It takes like a week to actually do it. That's that's why I also to be time to realize I separate the sourdough because I have a dehydrator, so I dry the starter, and it took me a while to realize keep it separately. So I give the customers the right amount of starter with the flour in the mix. And the last few months, I've been supplying extra flour just in case it doesn't come as active. So they can make the starter separately and then add the mix and do the mix, then add it to the bread mix they order. And I learn from my mistakes,
And what have been some of the mistakes you've made throughout your business? So you said about the sourdough and mixing that.
yeah. So that was probably one of my biggest mistakes that probably made me lose some customers because I didn't realize that having this sourdough, the dust in the premix, will not make it work as well as it was done separately. And I don't think other mistakes I done. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistake I did. It took me time to admit the mistake.
What were some of your smaller ones?
I mean, maybe it's misspelling. It's some of the instructions, and yeah, mostly it's just not realizing the misspelling in some of the instructions. I said before, no, I think I mean, I can't really think of any other mistake right now, but I'm pretty sure done, but probably quite so small that I didn't realize the mistakes I did.
So with the premixes, what's your customer experience? What's their overall experience been like?
I mean, some people, they don't understand instructions very well. I mean, some people just, why do you put in grams, not mil? The reason I put the water in grams, it makes it accurate. So it makes it more accurate than having a measure jar because sometimes the measure is not as perfect as it, especially when you do like below 100 mil. It's hard to measure that in measuring jug. I mean, yeah, I mean, I started doing like feedback forms and stuff like that to learn. So I mean, no one really followed it for a while, so no one was quite new. But yeah, I mean. It's most of the instructions that have issues. Something else not very clear. Maybe the pin is quite small or that kind of stuff. But I mean, that's probably the biggest, the complete of the instructions. I mean, figuring out how to sort that out. Either have like a QR code stuck to the label to the package, and have it extra instructions or whatever, something that makes it easy for them to understand. I do send extra instructions after I send it out to the post office. Oh yeah, my biggest mistake was using Yodel.
Sorry, Yodo?
Yeah, to deliver. So one the nearest place is always not working, and the second nearest place was they stopped doing it, and there's a one really close by, so I had to cancel it because it got too complicated, and
Sorry, I'm just laughing because everyone says to me, oh, DPD's terrible, DHL's terrible. No, Yodo. Your entire business was screwed because of Yodo.
yeah, I
I'm
mean,
sorry, that's not that.
yeah, I
I
know.
know
It's
these
like,
things happen, but it's just one of these things where you go, oh, the delivery courier sucked.
yeah, I mean, I thought, okay, it's quite cheap, people like it, and I do get a few, like not as many, but I get like one, two people using Yodel, but because I use Shopify to do to for my website, they only allow store off at shops. I'm thinking, and the customers pay for that, and then when I process it, it allows me to have pickup. But I mean, the customer paid to drop off at a shop and then been picked up and then delivered. Yeah,
As you were saying about dropping stuff off, the company that came to my mind was Every. You know what I mean? You have to go away and somewhere to drop it off. You can't just go, hey, can you pick up from my house, please? No. Sometimes the post office, I've had a like co-op once, and another time was at my local petrol station. But that's my point. You have to go somewhere for couriers like
Well,
that.
same thing with the post office. One like 2 minutes, 3 minutes away is actually a news agent. But the problem with that one is it's only one person doing it, so there's a long queue and depends on the person. But yeah, I try to use every and like I put it like and then when I try to add it, it doesn't appear to able to add it. So that's these small things happen, like so, I said you learn from mistakes. Like yes, probably got a few more orders to using Yodel, but in a way, it's after all these complications and stuff like that, I just gave up with it.
I don't blame you because why deal with the hassle when you can go somewhere else? Yeah, no, I get that. What would you say has been the most rewarding thing about running your gluten-free bakery?
I mean, like I started, it's something I really like. I like baking. That's probably the reason why I started it. And I just thought, like, giving people able to bake at home with, knowing that they're using natural, as I thought, natural ingredients. It's something, like I'm building something. It's like it's my future. It's like I thought, like in 2 3 years, seeing where I came from a home business to having like a proper, like I won't say factory, more like a manufacturing site. One day appears to market, like especially I find a way to extend the lifespan because right now it lasts us a month. And if I can find a way, I mean there is ways to do it. You can use some gas. It is nitrogen gas. That probably spend for the next 2 3 months. But yeah, it's something, like as before, like go from from small to big, looking back like in 20 years time and see how far I went.
See how far you can take it. What is your end goal with your business? By the way, I forgot to mention this. I really like your name for it, Simple Bake. I think
Yeah.
that's yeah, I think it's quite fitting. But what's the end goal for Simple Bake?
I mean, I think it's to start like doing baked goods. So like supply like let's say airlines or hotels or like almost like a catering, but just the bread. Maybe supply like in bulk the premix, so like a catering company just like take a scoop out and make the bread, or supply a business, have like still have supply to customers for home baking, but do more like yeah, like a wholesale business. So you have like the retail customers and you have the business customers, and that's what I see. Like 'cause I don't see myself, and then of course hits like outside UK. Right now, I can only supply the UK. So, but I think, and then I think the hotel, this catering business will be after when I start able to supply into Europe. I'm not sure about the US right now, because it's a couple hours away, and I think there's more complication of customs and stuff like that. I think hitting Europe first is probably a lot easier than going like a couple hours. And that takes I don't know how put it longer to process, and then hitting Europe first. Slowly, expand, and then the focus on as before to business kind of services to do like wholesaling and stuff like that. Yeah,
Would you say that your user eventually branch out to prime pre-made stuffs and not the premixes, but you're actually selling the gluten-free bread, cookies, and everything else that's going to come along with it directly to customers without the premix stuff? Or are you going to stick with?
I mean, the cookies I could probably be much easier to deliver. Even though they sound fragile because they're a lot smaller. But depends how much they order, of course. They're a lot smaller, and I know they probably didn't get like two boxes. The box for the cookies and the outer box, and have a bit more protection because either the bread is might be lighter than the cookies, but they're more fragile than the bread, and I think they easily be moldy than cookies because they're more like a wet, they have more moisture in them than the cookies. But I probably have to do the same kind of packaging and probably a lot bigger, so they'll probably definitely the biggest hit will be the shipping because as it's a bigger box, it costs more, and I just feel like that's why I want to do. Like I said before, to able to have a location, or that I could do like once a week or maybe twice a week, depends on how able I am to do it. I know it probably less customers, likely to do that. But yeah, so before it depends on the location I am.
You're saying about the hydration side of like the longevity of the cookies and the bread. I completely forgot about that because when you're making the gluten-free bread or sourdough in this case, you really have to hydrate it because the alternatives don't hold moisture as well as traditional like flour
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
so like gluten-free can be more like dense because normal bread have the gluten and the gluten create the bubbles. So you won't get big bubbles and more quite airy. It can be more dense, depends on the flour you use. And we add to the flour, so you add like some like more like starches and stuff like that. Because it's light, it makes the bread more light than if preparing but without it, and that's what gives lightness. It depends on the recipe. So sometimes some bread are more a bit more dense, and it's also do with the ingredients, so what you have in the mix, and then the amount of water you add to the mix. I see people have recipes on Instagram, they add more water than they usually do, and it can change the quality of the bread, or maybe it's fine, or maybe it improves it or makes it like a little bit worse and have a bit less the right amount of water.
Because you can't just drop it in a small bowl of water, but at the same time, you've got to spray it enough to where it actually rises, don't you?
Yeah, there's some recipes do ask to like add moisture in when you bake it. Sometimes they don't ask for it. Depends on the recipe. So it's what you're looking for.
Also depends on the type of bread you're making. Because I'm just thinking like fruit bread. So when you chuck in the raisins or the dried fruit, that would probably require a lot less moisture because you've got a lot less of the substitutes than as opposed to say brioche bread, where I've never had that before, but I know it's very
Yeah.
holly, you know what I mean. So you'd really have to soak that to actually get the texture of the brioche
Yeah,
bread.
so like if you add, let's say you make a seedy bread, you probably have to add more water to the bread because the dry seeds will absorb the moisture. But I'm planning to do some like make like bread with cocoa powder, powdered beetroot. I'm thinking of adding like flavors to the bread. So like a chocolatey bread or some dry vegetable that is not for the flavor, much for the flavor, but the color. So you have like a pinky bread or more red, or so have like make it color like a natural way. Then so yeah, I would think of doing that. Because I see like on Instagram like colorful bread. I think you do like blue bread, and I would do green. Green's a bit like, I mean, you could do like in multiple colors. So you can cut the batch in half and then do half green, half red or pink, whatever. I mean, yeah, beyond. And then, yeah, I'll say, so yeah, to that, you probably need to add more water. You add more powder. So, yes, the water can change. You might need to add more water, depends if you add in more like dry greens. Like if you're adding, well, if you add dry fruits, it's best to soak them like either overnight or a couple hours, especially if you're going to use warm water. That probably wouldn't, you won't need to add as much water. You probably you probably don't need to increase the water amount, liquid amount. I have been experimenting using beer, and it failed completely. So I thought maybe it'd be interesting. People can try beer. Water they could try beer. I haven't tried with like oat milk or the used milk. Depends on the diet. But
Fady Abboud, everyone. Where can people find you and your website for Simple Bake to order themselves some pre-mixed gluten-free bread? This ain't sponsored, by the way.
it's simplebake.co.uk. You can order like online.
If you want more food-related content similar to what we've just had with Fady Abboud, then I've got this episode with Claire Noble of Tobermory Bakery right here. Oh, and the short for Claire's episode right here.